What's going on? Jake here with Uncommon EDC. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Tactical Geek Cache L3C shoulder bag at 2.4 liters. This one's perfect for organizing your EDC, and I almost think of it as an extension of my pocket. It's compact enough where it's really difficult to overload this one, but plenty of space for carrying all of your EDC gear and things like that. And it's available in two different colors, black and the coyote tan that you see here. Price point is $47.99. They did send me an affiliate coupon code UEDC10, I believe, which will save you 10%. I'll make sure to leave that code as well as the link to where you can find this in the description of the video. And so external dimensions on this are about 12 inches wide by 6.5 inches tall. The depth does kind of depend on what you loaded out. Empty, it's about 2 inches, but you can see there's room to expand. If you fill this up a little bit thicker, it will expand with you. The material on here is what they call their Oxford fabric. It's a 1000 denier nylon, and so very similar to Cordura. It's going to be extremely durable, weather resistant, tear resistant, and that's something to pay attention to if you're just searching for this on the website. There's a lot of models with very similar names and similar dimensions, and they're all kind of this same layout, but they're different sizes and different materials. So if you are looking for different materials, those are available, but also keep in mind some of those might be a little bit bigger than this 2.4 liter capacity. So if you're not looking to get bigger, make sure to pay attention to those external dimensions. But again, about 12 inches wide by 6.5 inches tall. One of the really nice things about this is it offers a ton of different attachment points on the exterior of the bag. And so you can see this entire front panel that's about 10 inches wide by 4 inches tall is all hook and loop. And so there's some nylon straps over here sewn in the middle that you can hang stuff from as well. You also have the laser cut MOLLE there, and so really non-obtrusive way to add that MOLLE webbing. So if you want to attach external pouches, you have several different methods of doing that. You can also put patches and stuff like that on here. I chose to leave it blank just so we can see all of that MOLLE webbing and things like that, but I really like the front panel of this one. We also have the bungee cord on the bottom, and this is perfect if you want to add like that windbreaker or like a towel, bandana, whatever the case may be. Just kind of smaller, soft items can easily strap to the bottom here, super unobtrusive, and that bungee keeps them nice and secure. And then you have even more MOLLE webbing on top of that breathable mesh here on the back. And so tons of options there. We get the extra MOLLE webbing on our strap. The strap extends up to 52 inches, has this nice padded segment with that breathable mesh once again, so really comfortable. And then even if you end up on the strap portion, it's a little bit thicker than your typical 1-inch nylon, probably about 1.5 inches in width there, so you get a nice kind of wide strap. It also has this pivoting segment that allows you to really carry it wherever you want because that's super flexible. They show pictures of both carrying it on chest and back on the website. I tend to prefer chest carry for a lot of these smaller type bags, and so that's kind of how I've been using it, but you can carry it on your back as well, and it sits nice and close and compact to your body. They have it kind of strapped down pretty tight, so you can loosen it up, obviously, up to that 52 inches, but they keep it nice and compact when it's shipping, or at least mine was when it was shipping. We also have a couple different tabs here, so these are where the zipper ends, but there's also some tabs on the back that you can utilize for attaching additional gear. So we have this one at the top, which I'm not really using for anything, but could put like a mini pen or something through that and clip it onto there. And you can see there's two more straps over here that I actually did end up putting a pen through, and so gives you a lot of different options. Also a really neat, unique method of attaching these straps. They both kind of work the same way, where there's a button in the center and you can just slide it off once you push that button in, and then it slides back on and locks into place there, nice and snug and secure. And it's kind of seated in there pretty deeply, so it's hard to accidentally press that. I haven't had any issues obviously with that being accidentally depressed, but I thought that was kind of a neat looking mechanism. It's a little bit chunky, but it has kind of a cool look to it, and so I really enjoyed that as well. And then we have our Tactical Geek tag over here, and then access to 3 different pockets from the exterior. So we have our main kind of front pocket that we see on a lot of different this style bags, but this one is pretty roomy in that it can expand pretty far out from the actual bag. So if you do want to put thicker items, this is not exclusive to the, your small flat items, which I mentioned in a lot of these videos, where they have to be pretty narrow, and especially if you pack the bag out, it can be hard to access. That's really not the case here. There's plenty of real estate to get in and out of this pocket. You can see it expands pretty far out, and so you can really get in there and put some thicker items if you choose to do so, inch and a half thick items, especially kind of in the middle. The edges do get a little bit tight, but for the center, you really can fit a lot of different items. So I had a lot of those kind of random dump items that you see in a lot of these bags, different adapters, cords, chargers, USB things, and all that sort of stuff. And so that's what I'm using that for, just kind of a general general dump pocket because it has the room to take on those type of items. We also have an additional pocket on the back. This one's a little bit different than we see on a lot of these style bags. It's secured with Velcro, and so there's 2 strips of Velcro here, one on either side, and then you can, this is where you're gonna put those smaller flat items. So in there, I just have one of these field note style notebooks, this one customized by Titanium Justin, but you can put some other items. There's no hook and loop or anything like that, so this really wouldn't be the spot for a CCW, although there probably is a spot you can do that on the interior bag. Doesn't seem like this one was exactly designed for it, but it definitely can be made to work. And so that gets us to the exterior. Pretty simple stuff, but really nice usable pockets, which I appreciate. YKK zippers reverse threaded on our main pocket. And so we do get 2 zippers, so you can leave them placed on whatever side. I have it kind of set up so it's a little bit right-handed, and I can just pull from my chest there. And so inside of here, it does expand pretty wide, and it'll kind of stand up on its own, especially if you have items sitting on the bottom. And I don't really have much sitting there, but you can see this is standing up pretty nicely on its own. The only thing really packing out the center actually is a beanie, so in case my head gets cold, just have a beanie in there. But everything else is kind of mainly on the edges. I guess I do have a roll of duct tape here as well, but everything else is sitting on one edge or the other. So on the front side of the pocket, you have these 3 organizer pockets that are pretty wide. I feel like I'm probably not making the best use of them, but kind of set it up how I wanted it. And so have a flashlight over here, Streamlight wedge in one of those pockets. The Protect Rockeye operator, this is their automatic Rockeye with the tritium inlay on the button, as well as a Leatherman rebar. But these pockets are pretty wide, and so if we fold this back a little bit, we'll be able to get a better look at that. You can see it's kind of this mesh material, nice durable material, and pretty wide. It's not elastic or anything, so you can just sit stuff in there. I was clipping 2 of the items in there. One of them was just floating in there, but none of these items are super thick. The Rockeye is probably the thickest, and so you can really put thicker items in there, about 3 inches in width in the first one, about 2 3/4 on the second one, and then that third one's actually about 4 1/4 inches. And so a lot of real estate in those for those larger items if you'd like to put them in there. And then you just have this kind of cavernous bottom segment that lays flat on the table when you set it down, and so you can also put some thicker items here as well. Now on the other side, I went ahead and put some organizers in here, but this entire back is hook and loop, and so this is where you could probably put some sort of holster if you want to do some CCW. In fact, I think this organizer is from VanQuest, and so this is their Tactigami, and one of those holsters would definitely work really well in here. I don't know that Tactical Geek sells their own version of it, but again, that Tactigami one's really good. I have a nice one from VanQuest as well that lays pretty flat, and so they're a really nice kind of flat lay, the hook and loop ones. And so this is just an organizer. So in here I just have a bunch of tools. So we have, of course, our Kniftex, we have our Primate from Concept EDC, we have our blacked out full-size Bic, we have our Ruck. This is a little utility blade that slides out of here really nicely. Just put some pressure on there. There's a little clip in there that's holding it in place so it doesn't slide out on accident. But nice little utility blade. And then over here we have, this is from CountyCom, it's an X-Pack pen organizer. There's a ton of different companies that have a just kind of Phillips and flathead screwdriver, as well as my permanent marker in here. And this one is from Soul Built. And I could have put this extra pen in here. I did actually originally have that, but then went ahead and swapped it over here just to kind of show off the use of those external loops. But there's a ton of different companies that make different organizers, which is why I like this back panel. It really gives you the flexibility to put whatever type of organizers you want. Again, I mentioned Vertex and CountyCom. I know VanQuest makes them, 511, Maxpedition, MTAC makes them, Viperade makes them. So there's a bunch of them out there. Just look for hook and loop organizers, and you can really find them in a lot of different formats. I probably could even double layer this, put this one on the top and put another different type of organizer on the bottom, or maybe even put these ones vertically so the pens are over here and we have room over here for another organizer. But really nice to have that flexibility to just really put whatever type of organizers you want in there. And again, the internal capacity of this is about 2.4 liters. So if you do want to put some bigger items, if you want to put a book in there, that's fine. You can put a jacket in there, obviously a smaller jacket that packs down pretty tight. Can't be a big, you know, bomber jacket type jacket, but if it packs down pretty tight, you can put that in here. So it has room for a decent amount of stuff, but it's also pretty compact and it wears pretty tight on your body, which I like. It's not flopping around. And so really, really like the form factor of it. It has a really great look to it. The black is obviously a lot more kind of stealth. You don't really notice a lot of these like molly webbing, the laser cut here because the background is going to be black as well. With this, it stands out a little bit more that it has all of those kind of tactical features. So if you do want to go a little bit more gray man, that black option is great. And again, they have similar models with all kinds of different colors and materials. So if you're looking for something a little bit different, they definitely have those options as well. Would love to hear your thoughts on this one though down in the comments below. As usual, if you enjoyed the video, consider liking, commenting, subscribing, checking out some of my other content. All helps the channel out a ton, and I hope you have a great one. Take care.